Today's reading, I've been guided to just pop into tarot. There has been an energy in the day, and honestly, in this weekend, that is a combination of disclosing truths, ones that perhaps you or someone that you're connected to maybe hold a little bit of guilt or shame around. And very particularly, though, it seems like a feeling of guilt or shame, or that you've maybe done something wrong. But from an outsider's perspective, I feel that it isn't that you've done anything wrong, but that you've learned to saddle yourself with shame and guilt. Not because it's that it's called for. It's you're used to, or someone you're close to, is used to saddling themselves with guilt and shame because they had to carry that burden maybe in a relationship, an early part of their life, or maybe even in childhood. This feels like a reading for setting yourself free and unshackling yourself from unnecessary guilt and shame, and recognizing that, as I've said before, we excel in all kinds of different places. And we also have areas that we need a little bit of polish, but there's no reason to be unnecessarily cruel to yourself. So, collective, if that sounds like you or someone that you resonate with, this is likely your reading. We're going to start right with tarot. We're going to start with a focal energy, and then we'll get some clarification on that. Oh, okay. Well, we had one card want to come out, and that's the waning moon. So this is, as it says, gathering wisdom, but this is also a timing card. This is something that's either going to happen in the next 3 to 4 weeks, or something that has kind of come to light in the last 3 to 4 weeks. It's about having a new perspective, having patience, reevaluating your plan, reevaluating what you want to do in life. This is leading you to a new beginning, it feels like. So again, this has to do with something that had to do in the last 3 to 4 weeks, or something that you are hoping to get off the ground, a new behavior, a new way of thinking, a new healthy life start in the next 3 to 4 weeks. The other card that wanted to come out was the Nine of Cups, but it's in reverse. So this is because of what I said earlier in this start, where there's the collective either has a feeling of guilt or shame, but it's kind of making me tight-chested, to be honest. It's making it hard for me to breathe. Like, I'm feeling, honestly, it feels like not that I am going to, but I'm feeling that someone may have a predisposition to have a lot of anxiety and or have anxiety attacks. And that feeling of guilt or shame that you may be used to saddling yourself with, because I'm hearing very clearly, if something's going wrong in your life, you feel like it's your fault for some reason, because somewhere, somehow, in early life, in past relationships, or something that you've acquired from maybe family ties, that if there's something wrong, that it's likely you that's the problem and that you have to fix it. But that is not the case. I feel like you're carrying unnecessary baggage, unnecessary burdens, unnecessary guilt and shame. And to be honest, it's a little bit of self-cruelty. This Nine of Cups is having like a hollow feeling. It does say self-indulgent, addictions, overindulgence, excess, imbalance. So perhaps maybe the feeling that you have of like everything is my fault, or if something went wrong, it's because of the way that I lead my life or the way that I behave. And indulgences doesn't have to always be like a substance like alcohol or drugs, but it can be. It could be gambling. It could be overworking yourself. It could be, I'm just hearing, being the yes person, always saying yes to everyone, and then having too much to be expected of you, and then you overwork yourself. this is really, really strong. And it's making me feel like the collective may suffer from a type of anxiety. And I feel the word shutting down. Like sometimes things get too intense, and so I'm seeing like sorry that the metaphors keep jumping around, but this is how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing kind of like a coral reef, and those things called sea anemones, where like the clownfish swim about in them. But if something touches them, the sea anemone that's like flourishing like a flower goes swoop, and they like hide. It's like that. It's like when things are going, there's too much stimulus, or you feel too much guilt or shame, or you are overly critical of your own behavior or your own shortcomings, rather than being kind and gentle and understanding that everyone is fighting a different battle. And we have the knowing that to have grace over your healing, it's not how you think. You get overly critical, and you pull in. And something about the last 3 to 4 weeks, or alternatively it could be the next 3 to 4 weeks, has a lot to do with how you are going to be reevaluating, or your person is going to be reevaluating what you want out of life. Having a new perspective. Being patient with yourself. It's like being kind to yourself. This feels like there was a reading I did not that long ago. It was like during a thunderstorm, and I felt a very powerful energy. This feels similar, if not almost identical. So if you were here and you listened to the reading about, I was talking about a storm and how I felt it, like the anxiety or the sensation I felt in my heart space felt like I was connected through a kite, like like my heart space was taking in energy from a kite. And when I say that, it was like, that's a way for me to articulate that the energy was outside of me and I was channeling it in. It was like connected to my heart. So someone in the collective was going through an inner storm about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and perhaps are going through another one because they want to change, or you want to change. Give me a second while I ground right now. It's making my voice feel really shaky. You may be feeling very vulnerable, very unsure, realizing that you're on the precipice of a change, something so big and something so great, and something maybe even particularly life-changing. And while that may be exciting, it's also daunting. So, let's go forward and see what other energies you all have been experiencing aside from this kind of like really intense, anxiety that has been experienced. I want to say it's almost an exact replica in energy of when I did the reading about the storm. I think the title of the video was the storming weather outside reflects your inner emotional storm, or something like that. If that, even now hearing that, if that resonates to you, you might want to go check out that reading. So tell me what else is going on in the collective's life right now. What's going on in the collective's life? So we have 2 of coins. So this is planning and the execution of those plans. And it is in reverse. And so it may be, as I was mentioning earlier, having that feeling of always saying yes. Always, in this card it says overcommitting, overwhelmed, and sometimes disorganized. You may have been going through some of the hardest moments where you were what's that term? Balancing too many spinning plates. Like you're trying to juggle too many things. And there's some end goal that you want. And I don't know if the spinning of the plates or juggling all these responsibilities, or recognizing that there are so many different steps that you need to take before taking the job, or moving from your apartment, or entering in a relationship, or closing a chapter on a relationship. It seems like there's a lot of steps. And the realization that there are all the steps can be overwhelming, on top of the fact that I do feel collective. It's either you or someone that you know or you're connected to in a very close way. There tends to be the overcommitment of work. Like, oh my gosh, this is like very it's making a little bit of hard to breathe, honestly. It's the overcommitment in work, and it doesn't always mean that it's at your workplace. I mean, work in general. It can be the place of employment, but it also could be like responsibilities of the home. If you happen to be a stay-at-home parent, or let's say you are in school and you're not working full time, but you're at school full time and quote working or studying, there's something about overcommitting in work or taking on too much with work. So maybe you're taking on too many projects at work and you feel like you're drowning. Maybe your home life, if you are a stay-at-home parent or you're a single parent, all the responsibilities of the home feel to be on your shoulders. Or perhaps you're at school, maybe you've taken too many classes, or you feel like the class workload is getting more and more intense and you're having a hard time keeping up. But oh, okay. Well, I'm hearing that it's not necessarily commit an over. Well, okay. I just heard two things can be true at once. Yes, there is an overcommitting of energy to quote work, but also it's almost like a welcome distraction from doing the inner work that you want to do, know you have to do, and need to do. Wow, you're replacing one kind of work to distract or to postpone the other kind of work. And that's not a dig. It's something that we all do at some point in our life. I know I've been guilty of doing it, where I will busy myself at home or at work, or make a project at home so that I don't face the things that I have to do internally, emotionally, spiritually, because I know it's going to take a long time, or that it's not going to be easy, or that I know it's going to require me to be incredibly vulnerable and put myself out like alone out on that branch. But I know I'd have to do it. So let's see, what do we have for continued energy? Whoop, there we go. So we've got two. So then we have King of Coins in reverse. Oh boy. King of Coins in reverse is about being stubborn, ungrounded, maybe sometimes even making rash or hasty decisions. It says on here, can be possessive, ungrounded, miserly. So being a little ungenerous, and I don't mean with other people. I do feel like it means with yourself. There is some internal work, it feels like, needs to be done by the collective to help you heal or to balance out whatever situation you're in. And it can mean a lot of things, but it almost feels like digging in your heels and being like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I keep hearing that. I'm fine. But then if that's true, then why is this energy coming up? I think you're used to saying I'm fine, because the idea of being vulnerable and opening up to someone that can listen to you and try to offer support is daunting. The other card that came out was the King of Cups in reverse. So it says here it can be overly emotional, it could be moody, or it could be repressed emotions that you're not expressing yourself. It's feeling withdrawn. And again, with this King of Cups and King of Coins in reverse, it's like overcommitting yourself to work is also using that said work to distract or to delay the inner work that needs to be done, that you should, you probably have to, and it's needed to in order to heal and feel more balanced for yourself, not for anyone else, but for yourself. But with the King of Cups, there's this, I feel like there's this propensity for the collective or those that they're connected to say, I'm fine, almost as a default. Like when someone says, hey, how are you? Your automatic response is to be like, I'm fine. Like you hadn't even thought about the question yet. It becomes an automatic response for you to be like, I'm fine, even though you're anything but fine. The King of Cups, with this card, it's saying repressed. It can be overly emotional or moody. It could be sometimes even emotionally unavailable. And again, with that feeling, when people ask you, hey, are you okay? And you're like, I'm fine. And kind of feigning like things are okay, but you're not, because the idea of actually delving in and sitting in and telling, like I just heard, I don't even know what to tell them. If someone was to say, hey, how are you? And you know you're not fine, but how do you tell somebody that you're not fine? I think that you've thought about, when someone asks you that question, to be like, I've actually had a pretty rough week, a pretty rough day. And I'm getting the inclination that you hold on. It feels like easier to put the focus or the onus on someone else so that you don't have to talk about yourself. It's like someone asks, are you okay? And you're like, I'm fine. How are you? And then the person goes, I'm fine too. And you know what it is. A lot of people say, I'm fine, but they've got a lot going on. And so you press forward like, are you really fine? Are you really okay? And then that person opens up and they're like, oh, actually, I've had a really hard day today, or, money's tight, or job's overwhelming, or, taking the kids to practice, or my relationship, I'm having a rocky patch, or, me and my so-and-so just split ways, or I'm trying to find a way to express my love to someone that doesn't even know that I care about them. And you, collective, or whoever's resonating with this, it's like, really? And you like, it's almost like you're like, tell me more. And that's how you connect with people. You're there for other people to ask them things. But when people ask you, it's like, I don't want to say you're emotionally unavailable. It's what it says on the card, but it's like you are emotionally closed off, not because you want to, but because you don't know how to really be authentically yourself in whatever situation someone's trying to connect with you. And this energy that I'm feeling is like you're recognizing that when you do this, it feels like protecting yourself for that moment, but then also you feel isolated. You feel like there's not a lot of people around you who understand or hear you, but you also know that they can't understand or hear you if you don't disclose. Okay. I am going to get another set of cards because I think that I want to use the oracle from the same maker. They're called Intuit. Give me a second while I get the cards out. What is it? What other additional clarification can you give me about this King of Cups? It's feeling a little withdrawn, repressing your feelings, feeling internally kind of emotional. Maybe you feel a little bit moody, but on the outside, you're not really disclosing to anyone. Clarification on the King of Cups. There we go. So when we have balance, centered, meditate, integrate, flow, feeling complete awareness. Clarification for this kind of emotional imbalance is balance. This feels a lot like this waning moon energy, where in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and I think it might be on both ends, the last three to 4 weeks have been quite, I don't know if monumental is the right word I want to use, but there is some importance about the last 3 to 4 weeks and there's something important about the next 3 to 4 weeks, because it is about reevaluating how you are viewing your life, how you are moving through life, how you view yourself, and how you treat yourself. It's having a new perspective. It's having patience with life, with your situation, with your healing, and with yourself. And the clarification with the King of Cups is balance. It's like Spirit is asking you to please take that time. Oh, my candle went out. That is for me, it's like an exclamation point, or it's an underline. It's a bold kind of energy. Especially during what I'm talking about, it is the universe saying, please be kind to yourself. Do what you need to do to help see yourself in a kinder light. I do feel like, collective, you are doing something specific. Maybe you've reached out to someone already. Maybe you finally are opening up and divulging the truth of your heart. And I don't mean truth of your heart as in romance, but it can be. Truth of your heart is just like the truth of your soul. Maybe you have finally started opening up and saying to people, hey, I'm sorry I've kept this inside, or I'm reluctant to talk about this thing, but it's been weighing on my mind, and I need someone to hear me out. Maybe it's thank you for being there for me, and I want to take steps towards the future that I want to create, and your support means so much to me, and I want to thank you for the things that you've done, and I want you to know that I'm not abandoning myself, but that I am starting to ooh, you know what I just heard right now? If this has to do with love, how intensely that you love somebody, how much you've tried to shower people with love, the way that you've maybe intensely focused your love on someone. I'm hearing turn that love around and give that kind of love to yourself. The love that you so desperately want to give to someone, give to yourself first. That's what I'm hearing. Can I get clarification on the King of Coins? Hold on. Clarification on the King of Coins. Okay, what do we have? We have the wild card, surprise, opportunity, open-minded. Open-ended. Game changer, unpredictable, adaptable. The dark horse. So in creating, emotional balance and stability within your life, that would be the King of Cups and the King of Coins upright. Creating emotional balance and stability and security within yourself. Spirit is saying, when you do that, it's a game changer. Like, you will be surprised at how things start to shift and move in your favor when you start investing in yourself, when you start loving yourself, when you start focusing on healing yourself and being kinder to yourself. The dark horse, if you don't know the analogy, is about you can hear it coming in the night. The dark horse in the night, you can hear it coming, but you can't see it until it's right up on you. So it's kind of a surprise. And usually the dark horse in the night is like a message, because I think the analogy comes from back in the day when messages, mail, postcards used to come on, quote, the Pony Express, I believe, and that you would hear the dark horse in the night coming. A message was coming, but you couldn't see it yet until it was right upon you, and it was bearing news. It was bringing in an opportunity or information. There is something about once this energy of the King of Cups and the King of Coins being balanced out, to be emotionally stable and to be to create stability around your life, the amount of opportunities and the feeling of forward progression and movement is astonishing. Can you get clarification for the Two of Cups in reverse? Then we have mountain, obstacle, distance, solitude, barriers, delay, and there's that stubborn card, because there was also the stubborn card up here. So for me specifically, it's saying balancing out your energy, making sure that those two things, you are emotionally stable within yourself and you love and you prioritize your comfort and your well-being. When you prioritize giving yourself structure, giving yourself stability, that it starts opening up opportunities, the dark horse in the night. You start getting messages. You start seeing it's a game changer. And what you once saw as an obstacle or as a block is like a paper barrier. You can just go right through it. It's not something that stops you or even slows you down when you come to understand that self-love, self-worth, and understanding you have to love yourself first before you expect anything around you to change. It's a game changer. This feels like someone who puts a lot of judgment on themselves. Can I get a clarification for this timing card of the waning moon? The last 3 to 4 weeks and the next 3 to 4 weeks. So we have wine, developing over time, legacy, the good stuff, finesse, transformed, ages well. So again, we have several cards on that top row showing kind of the struggle that you've been through internally. Using work, whether it's actually career work, if you're a stay-at-home parent, or that you feel like the home life responsibility falls on your shoulders. If it's about school and it's about the workload of classes and homework and projects and any other responsibilities in that arena, it feels like while that is overwhelming and that's a real thing, sometimes it's a welcome distraction from the inner work that you know that you need to do and that you've been wanting to do for a really long time. And Spirit is asking, if you take the time to focus on yourself, to allow yourself that kindness, patience, understanding, to create emotional stability within yourself, creating stability and structure in your life, that is when the road will open up. And any perceived barriers are just like paper barriers. You can walk right through them. They don't even slow you down. Because I've said it before in other readings, when we are in pursuit of the things that we want, that our heart cries for, our first block and our biggest block tend to be ourselves. So let me get a self-care oracle. I know this is sort of a short reading, but this is really intense, and my energy is feeling really, really shaky. So I need to ground and have a little something to eat. Go put my hands and feet in the dirt to ground myself. But this message does seem very pertinent and very clear. So I'm going to use the self-love, self-care oracle. We're going to do 4. So we have release expectation. Do not focus on the money aspect of your dreams. Abundance will come at the right time. Okay, so we have that. Validate your past. You did the best you could. Feel and empathize with your past. Don't judge it, or not to judge it. Balance. Juggling too many things at once. Find time for yourself. That is confirmation. One more. Have faith. Remove the doubts and questions. You are ready to step into your blessings and claim what is already yours. Underneath the wine, developing over time, the good stuff, transformed, ages well. This is a fine wine, something that there is some goal important to your soul or to your journey, to your path, that has been part of your mind and may even be part of what you feel, it burdens your mind currently. But then work, the home life, school, and then self-care, self-healing, being patient with self, all of those things kind of pile up. But in the next 3 to 4 weeks, I feel like there is balance being achieved, that Spirit is saying, focusing on yourself and creating emotional stability and structure and stability in your life, helps you overcome barriers to get to, what you've been building over time, what has been in the works for you over time. I'm hearing red thread of fate, something that you are connected to. You can call it destiny, you can call it fate, you can call it a soul tie, but there is something waiting for you. Have faith. Remove the doubts and questions. You are ready for the next step into your blessings and claim what is already yours. I say it in a lot in my readings, but nothing that is meant for you will ever be lost to you. If it's meant to be in your life, it will never pass you by. So I know this is a shorter reading, but I feel like the message is closing out where it is right now. And honestly, it's kind of rattled me a bit. It's a really intense energy. So this is meant for someone today or in the last, 12 hours. There has been, and it's, what time is it right now? It's 4:55 currently on Saturday, the 19th of October. So whenever this goes up, I don't know when I'll have time to post it, but this reading, October 19th, 4:55 in the afternoon, someone today or in the last 12 hours has been feeling this kind of energy. Something in the last 3 to 4 weeks has been deeply transformative for them, maybe even rattling to their soul, making them feel anxious and nervous. But because that is because the next 3 to 4 weeks coming up is something meant to happen. There is some sort of balance you are supposed to achieve or work your way towards. There is love that you're supposed to find in yourself, because I hate to steal this line from RuPaul, but it's so true. If you don't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Right? So it all starts with you. Nothing that is meant for you or is destined for you will ever pass you by, will ever be overlooked. You'll never miss it. If it's meant for you, have faith. I don't know why I felt like I needed to underline that and bold it with neon lights, but there it is. So, this is Rabbit and Moon Tarot. My name is Angel, and I will see you at the next reading.